Hey guys, I want to talk to you about something that is weighing on me, and maybe it's weighing on you too. It's all this anger and strife that's happening. This year especially is just, it seems out of control. Whether it is taking a stand or a side relative to the Black Lives Movement, whether it is supporting or opposing the removal of historical statues, whether we should be wearing a mask, whether the government did enough to inform us about the seriousness of COVID, whether schools should open, whether we should go back to work, whether restaurants need to come back in full capacity or be limited. There's all this hatred and dissension around this stuff online. And yet, I think that it's actually a really good opportunity for you and I as Ripplers to take a step back, to weigh all sides. And on all of these issues, whether it's the coming election, what party you follow, what candidate you support, whether we're on the right track or on the wrong track, I don't even pretend to want to try and persuade you one way or the other, because that is not my job. That is not my role. And yet you can't ever get on Twitter or Facebook, even Instagram these days, TikTok, Snapchat, and not have just this back and forth with people. Not you and I, obviously, but you just see it. The dissension, the argumentative behavior, the outright hatred that's being spewed online. And it's a bit overwhelming. And it makes you want to take a step back and in some regard actually get completely off social media. But you can't really do that. I think now in this period of time, in this moment of our history, it's an important piece to pay attention to and to recognize what works for you. And what I mean by that is, as Ripplers, I think you have to take a long, hard look at the people that are participating in this. There's a whole lot of passion behind this. Some of it, I believe, misguided. Some of it geared towards a side that has a whole lot of anger and hate. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I don't even try to comprehend it. But what I do is I pay attention and I'm trying to listen to all sides. Because it's not a right and a wrong situation. There's not just two perspectives. There's multiple perspectives, which actually gives you insight and value by which you can help to formulate your own opinions, your own narrative about this. And I'm not saying bury your head in the sand so that you don't get exposure to it. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that I think it gives you a very good opportunity to review the people that you're in contact with, the people that you have welcomed into your network, the people that you welcome onto your Twitter stream or that you call a friend on Facebook. And look at the behavior and the actions and the comments that some of these people are putting out there. And then ask yourself, is this the kind of person that I need to be associated with? Is this helping me in any way? If it's not, we're talking going far extreme, right, left, hatred, whatever. Is that serving you to have that person popping up in your feed or potentially getting exposure? I've just said you've got to look at all these sides, and there's an opportunity for you to learn. There's an opportunity for us to all learn. But when things start to denigrate to the point where people are spewing hate and are aggressive and just flat out attacking one another, you really have to understand that that is not right, and we have to draw a line. And if you can't publicly raise your hand and say you are doing this wrong, don't do that, because then you're kind of joining what they're doing, right? But disassociating, unfriending, unlinking, or stop following on Twitter, stop liking their Instagram posts, and taking a step back. I've done that. There are a lot of good people out there that I am very surprised by their words and their actions. It's given me a different insight, a different take to who they are, and I am just not welcoming them to my party. Doesn't mean I wish them bad. If that's the way they feel, I'm not even going to have an opinion about it. But what I do know is I'm not going to expose myself to it. And by doing that, by disassociating, disconnecting, disengaging across the board with people that are one extreme or the other, but their conversation is not adding to the value of a reasonable conversation that needs to happen around whatever issue. Pick one, COVID, political, or otherwise. Then it's time for me to take a step back, disconnect, and get out of the fray of the fire. And so the reason I share that with you is I'm hearing a lot of angst and anxiety from the people that I know are good, solid ripplers that are really struggling because they don't want to give up on a friendship. They don't want to give up on a prior business relationship. They're concerned about these people's welfare with great reason. And that makes them good people. Then when you push back a little bit and ask, is what is happening, what you're seeing, what you're witnessing, is that helping to ease things for you, or is it adding anxiety to you? Is it causing you to have sleepless nights or worry needlessly about things that you can't control? Because you can't control other people's actions. You can't really control their thoughts or their words. You can just be the best positive person that you possibly can. And if you're really concerned about what those people will think of you by unfriending or unliking or unlinking in or whatever it is, shoot them an email. Say, look, I've watched some of this stuff online. I have to take a step back. And I'm not saying you're right or you're wrong. I'm just letting you know that I feel like we have a relationship enough that I need to tell you why. And I'm not saying you're right, I'm not saying you're wrong, or that I'm disassociating myself for any other reason other than I just need that negative mojo to go away. Not just by you, but by everybody. And I know that sounds somewhat contrite because there's so many big issues at work right now. But it's hard to work on the issues when all you hear is screaming and yelling and hatred that's being, just thrown out there. I mean, people and their livelihoods are being eviscerated just because they go against the grain of an opinion or they say something that has the least bit possibility of being antagonistic. Maybe unintentionally antagonistic. I don't know if that makes sense, but this is what's weighing on me right now. Had to share it with you. I am feeling better about certain things in my life because I have removed certain individuals and just the silliness of their antics. It's opened up space for me to then think about the big issues, to formulate my own opinions, to want to learn more about what's wrong with this country and what's wrong with the direction we're headed and what small role I can play to maybe help it. But I know just telling you you're wrong or you telling me I'm wrong doesn't exactly fix anything. Instead, it breaks everything. So, something to think about. As always, I appreciate you paying attention to these YouTube videos, watching them. Hopefully this made you think. I would love to see your comments below. Get your take. Be kind out there. Do your best. Everybody's fighting a battle right now. We're all in this together because we're human. We have that in common. Let's treat each other as such. As always, ripple on.